Hi, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Vita-mind-B video series. So this video series is here to help you train a healthy mind step by step from A to Z. So this is episode 35 and I'm at the letter V. So first of all, I want to share with you is values. So when I was asked this, what are your values? I was confused, I was lost, I don't even know what values are. So I would start with that. So they, like all the other things in the world, there's two sides of a flip coin. So there's good values and there are bad values. So good values are reality-based and socially constructive, immediate and controllable. You are in full control of it. And as for bad values, is the entire opposite, socially destructive. It's superstitious, it's not immediate, and it's something you cannot control. For the good values, one example that I can give you is honesty. So if you prioritize honesty as one of the values, honesty is definitely reality-based because it's based on the reality and it's socially constructive. Well, honesty can sometimes feel like it's socially destructive because it feels like it might hurt people when you are being entirely honest. Just that's why a lot of us would tell white lies so that, well, I don't want to hurt her feelings, I don't want to hurt his feelings, so I just don't want to be that honest. But you yourself, deep down, you know that if you are being honest, it's always healthier in the longer run. In the future, if you're not being honest, in the future, if they were to find out the truth from someone else, it would be worse. Agreed? And the last point is that honesty is something you can fully control it. You can choose to be honest or dishonest. It's a choice of yours. You're always choosing. So if you are prioritizing honesty as one of your values, you're choosing it. You're choosing to tell the truth. You're choosing to speak your mind. You're choosing to tell someone if they were wrong. So that's a good value. That's one of the example. And there are also others like innovative or creativity. The example, let's move on to the bad values. One of the bad values example is popularity. So during these critical times where the COVID-19 is spreading really fast and a lot of us are under lockdown, or we call it movement control order, I can see that a lot, I'm not saying all because that's unfair, a lot of millennials, or you call the Generation Z, they are posting a lot of TikTok videos or Instagram posts or stories or whatsoever. I'm not against that, that's totally fine. But what is the intention of that? Let's just say if their intention is to be popular during this time, that's not a good value, that's a bad value because first of all, popularity is not something that you have control over. Because okay, imagine you attend a party. You can't be expecting everyone to like you. You can't be showing up at a party and think that, okay, I want to be the most popular person in this room, so I'm gonna go talk to everyone, I'm gonna mingle around, I'm gonna make people like me. But you never know who is going to be in that party. Someone that's more popular than you perhaps, or someone that really hates you to guts. This is not something you can control. It's superstitious. And another thing is, even though if popularity is one of the values that you prioritize, even though you became the prom queen or prom king in that party, the next thing you'll be wondering that, do they really like me, or do they just fakingly like me? Do they talk bad behind my back? How would I find out? So these are not the good values, because this is really not something you can control. You can't tell everyone to like you from heart. Usually all these, as we've seen in the movies as well, usually all these famous or popular girl or guy, they are always having or being surrounded with all these superstitious friends. They don't really have real friends. Well, I'm not saying it's real. I'm not saying it's always like that, but most of it, that's the idea that we got from. So, Belle, so what if I prioritize good values? And so what if I don't? So, a lot of self-help books or psychiatrists would tell you to practice in front of a mirror, or in the start of the day, or before you end your day, to go in front of mirror and say, I love myself, I am enough, I am lovable, I deserve of love, all these affirmations. And for some people, these affirmations really do work if they do enough and they're really consistent with it, so they would change their mindset towards these affirmations. But what if for those who doesn't? So this is where values comes in. So let's just say I wake up today and I tell myself that I prioritize honesty as my value today, and I do value what I talk to people, what I tell people, even if nobody's watching. I am being honest throughout the whole day, because that is what I chose to prioritize today. And at the end of the day, you would have a sense of achievement that you really do prioritize what you have valued. So this is how, when you have done something based on your value and you really did end up loving yourself. Even Tom Bilyeu says that.
But the reality is, if you really want to have self-worth, if you want to have self-respect, if you want to value yourself, you have to earn it. You have to do something that you value.
Yes.
You have to do something that makes you feel like you have fucking worth.
Yes.
And one of the things, instantaneously, dude, instantaneously, if you can get yourself to follow through on something that you value but is hard, you will instantly feel that sense of like, whoa.
So the next thing I want to share about is vision. Do you have a vision? If you look at this word, if you go for an interview in a new company, they would show you a company profile, what's the mission and vision of this. So these are for the corporate situation. What about you? Do you have a vision? Do you have an idea? Do you have a dream of who you want to be in the next 5 years? Do you have a vision of what do you want to do? How do you want to serve the community in the next 5 years? So, have you heard of the quote, believing is seeing? It doesn't have to come to a point where you need to see it first and then believe it. A lot of us, we don't have a vision yet, or we haven't started thinking about that because we are also caught up with our daily routine, our daily lives, and we used to have dreams as we were younger, and then as we got busier and more things coming up and more priorities comes into our life, and then we slowly just let this vision or the dream fades off.
This is who you are. This is what you must be for the rest of your life. Sometimes a dream almost whispers. And I've always said to my kids, the hardest thing to listen to, your instincts, your human personal intuition, always whispers, it never shouts. Very hard to hear. So you have to, every day of your lives, be ready to hear what whispers in your ear. It very rarely shouts. And if you can listen to the whisper, and if it's tickles your heart and is something you think you want to do for the rest of your life. And that is going to be what you do for the rest of your life. And we will benefit from everything you do. Thank you very much.
So right now, I would like you to take a minute or 5 minutes and think about what are your vision for your future. You want to have a family with 3 kids, you want to give them a really good educational life, or you want to do something for them, you want to travel around the world. If you have a vision and you are consistent of visualizing it, this is not affirmation. If you visualize it enough, it affects your actions, it affects your thinking. So it connects your body, soul, spirit, and it affects how you approach people. Because if you visualize enough about your dream, about who you want to become, all these, your mind will start forming strategy, or the way that the people that you surround yourself with would move towards this vision. So it's really important to have vision, because I want to go somewhere, but I don't know where I want to go. How would you input into Waze or Google Maps? You just know where you are. You have no idea where you want to be, which means you don't have a vision. And there's not even a path that would show if you don't have a destination. Vision is like a destination for every one of us through our lives. Nietzsche have this quote, he has a good enough why to live can bear almost anyhow. So I've seen this quote repeated a lot in the book Man's Search for Meaning by Dr. Viktor Frankl. He has been in 5 concentration camps. How he and everyone else in the camp, they were treated inhumanly. They are not given enough food. They don't even have enough rest, and they don't even have enough clothes or shelter under a storm, or when it was snowing, they still have to work without shoes. Like he wrote in the book that they can almost precisely predict who is going to die next week, because they don't have a vision of their future being in that concentration camps. They don't picture themselves being free after the war. They don't picture themselves having a family or being able to live their lives normally after these concentration camps. So Dr. Viktor Frankl said in a book that this can easily tell when a person loses the vision of life, they just simply gave up. So back to us, which is not that extreme, if you don't have a vision, how would you go through all these pain or struggle? Pain and struggle are inevitable, because these are part of it that makes us human and makes us grow through our lives. But if you don't have a vision, you would be going through it blindly, and as you drop to the rock bottom, you might never come back up. That's different when you have a vision. So I want to ask you right now, what is the dream that you have that you really want to achieve? So start asking yourself that and work your way towards that. Third point I am sharing today is victimize. Victimize is related to responsibility. So this is one of the V that I want you to avoid. So about this, I want to start with a story. So there's a couple. They're in love with each other deeply. They spend a lot of time together. They share the same interests. They are planning to get married soon. And one day, the guy found out that the girl is cheating on him with her teacher. So the guy confronted the girl about this, and the girl just left him. 5 years of relationship just down the drain just like that, because she chose the teacher over him. The guy is heartbroken. How could she have done that? How could she break his heart like that? And why would this happen? Why is she so cold-hearted? And to this point, we can tell that the guy is the victim and the girl is to blame for everything else. How can you throw a beautiful relationship, a love relationship for 5 years just like that, just for some excitement? That's true. But the guy ends up being drunk every single night. He went to beg the girl, taking him back. He stalked the girl. He threatened to kill himself. All the other crazy things that the ex would do. So right now we are still focusing on how the girl is being a bitch and the guy is such a poor guy. So everyone is to be blamed for what's happening. Honestly, there's always something or someone to be blamed for when shit happens, and shit always happens, whether you like it or not. And now is the time to think, is it time you want to victimize yourself, or is it time you want to take responsibility? Yes, there's always someone else to be blamed, but you are responsible for your own emotions, how you react towards that. What are your responses? What are your next steps? So these are your responsibility, not someone else to be blamed. Why do we always go to victimizing oneself? Why do we always blame something else? I'm like this because I have this child trauma. I'm like this because my family is always being strict. I'm like this because of that, because something happened to me and I was traumatized for life. So why do we always hear these things and that's it? That justify that how I'm being an asshole or how am I being a jerk. So that's it, because something happened to me. Because this victimizing oneself thing is easy. You just give someone's name, something that happened, some incident from 20, 50 years ago, and that justifies you being a jerk or you being an asshole. And that's it. And honestly, everyone has been through something, and whether or not you want to take back that power, to take back that responsibility of how you react towards that incident is up to you. It's you to choose how do you let that thing or that person to influence you for life. And if you pass that power on by blaming someone else, that's your choice as well. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that criticize yourself. Don't go to the other extreme and say, okay, so this thing happened, but I'm fucked up. And I'm fucked up because I'm just fucked up. I'm screwed up because I don't have this, I don't have that. Well, I'm not saying, apart from blaming someone else, don't blame yourself for it, but you acknowledge it. You acknowledge that this is your responsibility to figure out something, that how about this shit happened and yes, I'm struggling. What can I do to be a better version and comes out of it to be a more cheerful person? Why don't you ask yourself that instead of blaming someone else that justify your actions, probably negative actions, or criticize yourself and get drunk every single day just because you can't forgive yourself? Do something about it. Take back that responsibility and don't victimize yourself and don't blame others for no reason. So these are the points that I want to share with you. Make sure that you ask yourself, what are your values today? What are the values that you want to prioritize this week, today, this year? And don't victimize yourself all the time because that's not healthy. Take back the responsibility and think of what is your vision, what are your visions for life. So thank you for watching. I hope you like this week's video, and if you like this week's video, please subscribe. I will talk to you next week.